Hi, I'm Coach Amber, and welcome to the Meet RX Success Story podcast. Today, I have Taylor with us, and he's going to share his experience with Carnivore. Hi, Taylor.
Hello, Amber.
You doing well?
Yeah, very well. A little bit of an interesting night last night, but hanging in there.
Oh, no, that sounds kind of scary.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's all good.
well,
I'm a residential manager. I have to deal with drama sometimes.
oh, drama's always good, yeah. Speaking
Yeah.
of drama, tell us what was going on in your life when before you started Carnivore. Did you have any issues going on? Did you have any health issues? Uh, why did you decide you wanted to go Carnivore?
Um, well, most of it was mental disorder related. I was diagnosed with autism at about age 3. According to my parents, I lost my speech as a baby. I was growing just well, and then out of nowhere, lost my speech, so I got diagnosed with autism. Had a plethora of behavioral problems in school, and then up to age 10, they told me I needed to use the word Asperger's, and then they added Tourettes syndrome at age 15 because I couldn't control my body completely. And things just kind of went on and off there. I gained a lot of weight through my high school years. I peaked at 234. And then I went to college, had to withdraw a couple of semesters due to my Tourette's. I actually did have a good year doing a low carb diet my senior year of high school, going down to 174 from 234. But then I did the typical thing where I got to where I wanted, so I started having fun again. Fun, quotations. And then I gained it all back and more. I peaked at 264. And yeah, so there was just a lot of up and downs, physical and mental wise.
Wow, that's pretty serious stuff. I bet that was kind of hard for you to just regular life, much less worry about your diet and etc.
Yeah, the hardest part, if you don't mind me expanding a little bit, was my Tourette's disorder. So what happens with my Tourette's is once in a while my upper body will decide to convulse. Like, to someone who doesn't know me, they think I'm having a seizure. It causes me to lose my balance. I fall. I can't walk, and I have to hopefully have a friend with me who can deter people away, saying he's not having a seizure. Let him just relax, give him some air. And the worst years I had it, I was on a lot of medication. I probably tried every behavioral medication under the sun, and despite the medication, it just kept getting worse. I had my Tourette's sometimes last 7 hours, and you could imagine my body just involuntarily moving constantly, how sore my neck was, my shoulder. At that point, I was a young adult man, and I cried probably like I was 7 years old. And just because I was in so much pain, but my body didn't want to stop moving. And yeah, that was definitely just one of the worst experiences of my life. Very, very hard.
Wow, I can't even imagine, but I'm gonna guess that you're gonna have a happy ending. So let me
Oh,
get
very
to
much.
question 2. I gotta hear the happy ending part. Okay, so when you first started Carnivore, how did you implement the diet? Like, what did you eat, and did you have any transitional issues at all?
Well, Carnivore was not the first thing I attempted, like a lot of people. I started with a low carb diet because that's what worked for me when I was a senior. Low carb meaning I kept my grams under 60 or so a day. And on top of that, I actually did something that is absolutely forbidden. I basically said, screw the doctor, and stopped taking my medication along with that, because every time they increased my dose, my Tourette's kept getting worse. So I grew very, very skeptical of a lot of things, medication as well as diet. Like, are these USDA guidelines really doing the thing, when basically when I do the opposite, where I eat more fat, it works. So then eventually I was introduced to a ketogenic diet that worked very well. And I started off with maybe like 70% meat, 30% plants, because let's face it, plants don't taste as good and are as fun to eat. And I kept, just because I was a slacker and didn't want to keep buying vegetables, I kept my vegetable intake decreased more and more, but I couldn't help but notice that I kept feeling more and more good. If I was doing what everyone said they did, I should have felt tired, sluggish, deficiencies, all that stuff, but I kept feeling good. And then when I heard Jordan Peterson, Sean Baker talk about a carnivore diet, I admit at first I was like, well, that's a bit extreme. How is that this just sounds like another version of a vegan diet, only instead of telling people to eat all plants, eat all meat. But over time, because I try to be as open-minded as I can about things, I couldn't help but notice one major difference between the two. Vegans, at least radical vegans, they tend to have this like divinity mentality where if things don't work out for you, you're doing it wrong because you are stupid. But I haven't heard anyone yet say that on ketogenic or carnivore or anything. Even Sean Baker will straight up say, this is just something he recommends trying because it worked for him and he's seen it work for a lot of people. Same with Tom Naughton and Gary Taubes with encouraging a low carb or ketogenic or paleo diet. And so basically my taste in meat brought me to carnivore. I've always liked it. Even in school when they said you can only have like a hand size of steak, I was just like, oh, I'm never gonna fall exactly. I just love that too much.
Awesome. Yeah, meat's pretty tasty, I'll admit. I used to be one that I hardly ever had red meat, because it was bad. And now, I like my red meat. I'll just say pretty tasty, so yay.
Oh yes, especially when you season and salt it the way you want to.
For sure. Okay, so now let's talk about the happy ending part of the story. I want to hear how things have improved since you've been on a carnivore diet.
Well, like I kind of said earlier, I couldn't help but notice things were good on a ketogenic diet, even when I was reducing plants just out of my own will, not because anyone told me I should. But when I went full on carnivore, well, to be honest, I probably shouldn't say full on because I do allow a 90-10 ratio where 90% or higher is meat, 10% or less is something plant-based, which basically means meat is always the focus. And I do allow myself to use plant-based stuff to season my meat or to like add on to it. Like I might put a slice of avocado on my steak, or I love hot sauce. I'm a hot sauce addict. I can't get enough of that fiery sensation in my mouth. So, but it's just every day I do very well at that, where I stick to that 90-10 ratio. I feel really, really good. I can walk for miles. My mind is mentally clear. I still have Tourette's. I don't know if that will ever completely go away, but they never last hours. They last maybe 5 to 10 minutes maximum. And I think it's pretty clear now it has nothing to do with my diet at this point. Like my diet isn't increasing my likelihood of having it. There's still external factors like stress, surprises. Sometimes when I get too excited, that will trigger my Tourette's, so I have to breathe and tell myself I'm getting too excited. But again, when they do, they never seem to last more than 10 minutes. Like I'm able to tell people now, oh, just give me a second, I'll be okay. And they know in 10 or so minutes, I'm going to be able to get right back to work or whatever I'm doing at the time. Weight's gone down. I feel I'm way better than I was even just my freshman year of high school, where I went up to 235 pounds, or did I say 234? A big difference, 1 pound. And my athleticism is much better. I wish I had my body now that I did when I was on the basketball team in high school. Even though I was short and stocky, I had a mean three-point jumper, and I was one of the most tenacious on defense on my team. Like no one ever wanted me guarding them. But if I had my speed and my athleticism and my stamina, I probably would have been a starter instead of someone coming off the bench. But yeah, I just feel much happier now. I'm making a lot of success far beyond what anyone ever dreamed I would be, because with all the behavior problems I had, like getting handcuffed to the principal's chair in 5th grade, believe it or not, I was handcuffed in 5th grade and detained in 5th grade. But now I'm a residential manager for people with autism, and there are other residents in my building, but I'm not in charge of them. I'm just in charge of the ones with autism, because I'm trying to teach them how to live on their own, so that when it comes time for them to, run their own finances, rent their own apartments, they don't need me anymore. That's my goal. I'm like their Mary Poppins. So yeah, I'm just living a very happy life, complete opposite of what people probably projected I'd have.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. I'm very happy for you. I can't even imagine what your life has been like. And so to hear that you are thriving, that's amazing. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for sharing your story.
Hey, I'm proud to do it. I take pride in sharing this. I've spoken at universities, done other podcasts, done other radio. I'm almost addicted to it now. I love opportunities to share.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for being on our show and sharing your story. And you have a wonderful evening. And I hope you continue to thrive and just get better and better.
Hey, I plan on doing so.
Awesome. Good luck to you, Taylor.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
See ya.